Most people arch when they bench press. It shortens the range of motion and puts their shoulders in a better position for pressing more weight. What if you aren't just trying to press more weight? What if you're also trying to build a bigger chest? Should you be arching? A new study came out comparing benching with an arch versus benching with a neutral spine. Now, keep in mind that muscle activation research, EMG research, isn't the same as hypertrophy research. Just because a muscle shows higher activation doesn't necessarily mean that it will wind up growing faster. For example, muscle activation tends to be highest when we challenge our muscles in a contracted position, whereas we tend to stimulate more muscle growth when we challenge our muscles in a lengthened position. Imagine a cable fly, which is hardest when your chest is fully contracted, and compare that to a dumbbell fly, which is hardest when your chest is fully stretched. You'd expect the cable fly to show higher muscle activation because it's working your chest at shorter muscle lengths, but you'd expect the dumbbell fly to be better for building muscle because it's challenging your chest under a deeper stretch. The reason that challenging your muscles under a deep stretch is so good for stimulating muscle growth is that it combines both passive and active tension, giving you a greater overall growth stimulus. What's nice about this study is that it's comparing two nearly identical exercise variations with very similar resistance curves. Whether you bench with an arch or not, at the bottom of the range of motion, you're going to be working your chest under a deep stretch, which is perfect for building muscle. So, how does arching change muscle activation in the bench press? Let's dive into it. When you arch, you need to clench your lats to hold yourself in position, dramatically increasing their activation. But you're probably not going to work them hard enough to stimulate much muscle growth, especially if you've been bulking up your back with actual back exercises. So, we can ignore this part. Arching also seems to increase triceps activation, which is a little bit weird. Greg Nuckols reviewed this study in monthly applications in strength sport, and his guess is that when people bench with an arch, they tend to tuck their elbows more. When you tuck your elbows more, you can do a better job of engaging your triceps. What's cool is that this increase in triceps activation is huge, and since your triceps can indeed be a limiting factor on the bench press, you should be able to work them hard enough to stimulate quite a bit of bonus arm growth. Most people are benching for their chest though, not their triceps. And if you want to fully develop your triceps, you'll need to be doing some sort of tricep extension anyway. So, how does arching affect your chest? There's this popular idea that when you arch, it turns the bench press into more of a decline press, working just the bottom portion of your chest. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Whether you arch or not, it seems to work your upper chest the same amount. Another popular idea is that the flat barbell bench press doesn't do a very good job of activating your upper chest, giving you more of a bottom heavy look. But that doesn't seem to be true either. This study found that your entire chest activates when doing the barbell bench press. And I expect that's especially true if you tuck your elbows a little bit, lining the movement up a little bit better with those upper chest fibers. With that said, I still think it's wise to include some incline pressing, some landmine pressing, or some push-ups with your feet raised. Using a wider variety of exercise tends to be better for building a stronger, more balanced physique. Now, the next issue is that benching with an arch reduces the range of motion. And if it reduces the range of motion in that bottom portion of the lift, when your chest is under a deep stretch, that would be pretty bad for building muscle. That's where a lot of the muscle growth is stimulated. And some people do bench with such an extreme arch that it cuts that part of the lift out. But with thinner builds like ours, where we tend to have longer arms and shallower rib cages, you can still get a full stretch at the bottom of the bench press, whether we arch or not. The only difference is that instead of bringing the bar down to touch our chests, we're bringing our chests up to touch the bar. But it's that same degree of stretch at the bottom of the lift. The last point is that as far as I can tell, the participants used the same load whether they were benching with an arch or keeping their backs neutral. The thing is, most people are able to bench press more weight when they use an arch, and the more weight you lift, the higher your muscle activation tends to be. As a result, I'd expect the benefit of using an arch to be even greater than this study predicts. So, should you bench with an arch? Probably, yeah. You don't need an extreme arch, and you need to make sure that you're getting a deep range of motion, giving your chest a full stretch at the bottom. But it seems to increase muscle activation, it should allow you to lift a little bit heavier, and there's no real downside, so why not? On the other hand, if you don't like benching with an arch, or if it causes your back to flare up, then there's nothing wrong with keeping a neutral spine either. Both variations are very similar. You can go with your preference. Alright, that's it for now. Remember to hit the gym, keep up with your meals, and maybe go to bed early. I'll see you in the next one.